Ladies and gentlemen, we meet again for a short and sweet idea towards Parashat Pinchas. And this week we have a very unique expression. After Pinchas that did this very violent act, which we would expect it to be punished actually, because it was done out of court of law. He just took justice in his own hands and killed these two people. He was promised something very positive, very unique. He was given the covenant of peace. What does it mean, Briti Shalom? It's not quite clear, and there's room for commentaries. There are 4 different commentaries I heard once from my brother. Ibn Ezra takes it in a very practical way. And he says the following. The princess of Midian who was killed has bodyguards, has a whole family, has a tribe, has a nation who wants retaliation and wants to get revenge on this Pinchas. Also, he killed the president of the tribe of Shimon. Shimon is known to be a very militant tribe. So they, of course, also want revenge on this Pinchas who killed their president. Now, HaKadosh Baruch Hu promises him, don't worry about revenge. Nobody is going to avenge the death of these 2 people. They got what they deserved. Do not worry. That is on a practical level, and that is the evidence. However, on a mystical level, Yonatan ben Uziel comes and explains to us that Pinchas lived a very long life. How long? Well, he got into the land of Israel, and he was the Kohen that escorted the troops into battle, Kohen Mashuach Milchama. And actually he surpassed Yeshua and all the elders and the Shoftim. And they say that Pinchas is Eliyahu HaNavi. So Eliyahu HaNavi is the only one we know that didn't really ever die. So Briti Shalom means eternal life. Eternal life. To such an extent that we know days of Mashiach, Eliyahu HaNavi is going to come and he's going to tell us the Mashiach is here. So we're waiting for Eliyahu HaNavi to reoccur because he's never really died. Briti Shalom means eternal life. That's more of a mystical idea. There is a third idea, which is a halachic idea, brought down by the Chizkuni, that brings down the Talmud in Brachot, that says, Kohen sheharag et hanefesh lo yisa kapav, which means as far as Kohanim duchenim, Kohanim can duchen with their hands only if the hands have never spilled blood. If a Kohen has killed somebody, they even by accident, they cannot duchen anymore. They cannot levarech et amo Yisrael ba'ahva. They cannot give blessing of love. It disqualifies them. However, the bracha here is, since what you did is l'shem shamayim, since what you did was without any personal motive, but it was only l'shem shamayim, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling Pinchas here that he can continue duchening, levarech et amo Yisrael ba'ahva. This is not considered a personal account that he was killing for personal reasons. And therefore, this is very interesting because it's brought down Mishpatei Uziel, one of the early chief rabbis of Israel, that he bases on this an answer to one of the halachic questions he has, which is a soldier who was a Kohen in the IDF, and because of his job as a soldier, he had to kill. Can he continue duchening? Can he continue going up and levarech et amo Yisrael ba'ahva? And he says, based on this, since they go out to the army, our boys go out to the army, and what they're doing is not for a personal issue, but for Am Yisrael and for Eretz Yisrael. Therefore, they can continue duchening. Is based, his halacha, which is kept, is based on this. The fourth and last idea is the Netziv. The Netziv goes from a psychological angle, and it says anybody who is involved in such an act of brutality and such an act of violence and of killing, it does something to his soul. It does something to his personality. We know people who come back from Afghanistan, people who came back from Vietnam. They needed rehab. Why? Because so that all that they saw and all that they did won't be taken with them into their civilian life. And here is a promise. It says in Netziv, you've done an act of violence, but you don't need rehab. It will not affect your neshama. It will not affect your personality. Don't worry about it. So these are the four explanations, and they're not mutually exclusive. That means the Even Ezra, with the practical side, that there will be no revenge. The Yonatan ben Uziel, which talks about the mystical side, which is the eternal life, Briti Shalom. The third idea, which is the Chizkuni, which is the halachic implication that even though he's killed somebody, he can continue duchening. And the fourth, which is the Ha'amek Dovo, the Netziv, who explains it's a psychological thing. And we have to understand a person who kills somebody, the Shem Shamayim, has got a special promise that they won't be emotionally scarred or psychologically imbalanced by this. And this is what we teach our boys and our girls in yeshivot to open up Bnei Akiva. They should go to the army and they have to do what they have to do. And don't worry, do it l'shem shamayim. You'll be well, you'll be healthy. L'orech yomim b'shamayim. Shabbat shalom.